a Mumbai minute is the thing that comes closest to a New York minute. Mumbai is a city where it appears as if the city never sleeps. Everybody is in a rush to get somewhere. It's a very happening place. They also call it the maximum city. For the reason for all this preamble is we're going to today talk with Savio Rodriguez of the Goa Chronicle on how he sees the various investigations that are taking place in the alleged murder of Sushant Singh Rajput. Savio, welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaste. Thank you for having me here once again. And it's always a pleasure to have a discussion with you, Sri.
The pleasure is mine, Savio. We kind of take this thing to the next level. Instead of having one minute sound bites and then trying to see, who's going to ambush you with their viewpoint. Here you have a fairly longish time frame to construct your thought process and make your point. So as far as I know, and I have not been really following this murder case, I should be doing more, I should be following it more, but unfortunately I've been stretched with other things. Now, I will just tell you what I know so far, Sushant. The CBI investigation was ordered by the center upon request from the parents of Sushant Singh Rajput to the Bihar Chief Minister, who in turn requested the center. The CBI is investigating it. Now, you also have the Enforcement Directorate looking into the money laundering angle. And I hear now that the National Narcotics Control Board is also looking at it. So are these working in tandem or are they working in silos? How is the information sharing happening? Because my big fear, Savio, is that CBI came in 60 days, I think, or so after the actual murder/death happened. And in that's a lot of time to erase any kind of evidence. So what are your thoughts on it? And please enlighten our viewers.
Sri, I got into the investigations behind the Sushant Singh Rajput death primarily because I believed that the Mumbai police was not acting to the competency levels that they are used to. Now, the interesting aspect of this entire case started with the Mumbai police saying that it was a probable suicide. But to arrive at a conclusion of a suicide, they should have seen the body hanging. The Mumbai police has never seen the body hanging. What they did see was a body lying on the bed because the people who brought the body down were friends of Sushant Singh and not the Mumbai police. So they arrived at a crime scene that was actually tampered with, but went ahead to state that it was a suicide. Now, it was this very question that got me thinking as to why would the Mumbai police, on the death of a superstar such as Sushant Singh, who was not only a Bollywood personality, he was also somebody who was venturing very with a lot of determination into the startup field. He was going ahead with certain ambitious projects, and suddenly he's found dead. He's supposedly hanged himself. Now, there was no reason. There are talks about him having mental illnesses, and these stories are going around. Maybe he had, and maybe he didn't. But the fact of the matter is, I never saw Sushant as somebody committing suicide. Not in the frame of mind that he was in terms of setting up companies. In 6 months before his suicide, he set up two more companies, with Riya Chakrabarty's brother, right? So he had this focus of doing something. He had something that he was doing in his mind. The Mumbai police is a very competent police force. For them to botch up an investigation on elementary aspects of investigation leads you to believing that why are they doing that? This is not an incompetent police force. Now, they can only do that if a powerful entity, in terms of maybe a political entity or Bollywood, could be their button pressers at that point of time, telling them, you need to do this in this way, not give it a lot of attention, kill the investigations or take it very slow, because there were elementary errors in the Mumbai police. And that is the main reason why Sushant's family went to the Bihar police, and then the Bihar government, asked for a CBI inquiry. Now CBI is investigating the case. You have NCB, the Narcotics Control Bureau that's come into the investigation. And you had first the ED coming into the investigation. Now, all three are looking at it at different levels of their competencies and their core focuses. The ED is looking at the money laundering trail. The Narcotics Bureau is looking at the drug trail, and the CBI is looking at the overall investigation of the allegations to murder on Sushant Singh Rajput. So, are they doing a fair job? I think at this point of time, they are doing a very clinical job. I cannot say whether it's the best job or the right job or the perfect job. I think they're doing it very clinically. Each department is working in a very clinical manner to go after the facts available to them. It is, of course, going to be very difficult. If you believe that the Mumbai police botched up the investigation, you will also have to believe that there is a possibility that somebody in the Mumbai police can even tamper with the evidences that are around. So the CBI is going to have an uphill task. The Narcotics Bureau is going to have an uphill task to actually create a case, because you cannot go to court in this case with flimsy evidences or flimsy circumstantial evidences, because this entire case will be based on circumstantial evidence, because there is really no hard evidence to prove either of the theories, right? So the CBI has to work on it in a very, very meticulous manner to gather all the evidences. Why was Sushant Singh murdered is the most important aspect, because I'm saying it over and over again. I don't think this gentleman had the ability to commit suicide, no matter what mental health illness you would like to tag with him, because his actions over the last couple of days of future thinking, his want to invest into a very powerful artificial intelligence systems that he was working on, these are not signs of a person who's wanting to commit suicide. This is a guy who's progressive. But these are my views. I'm not an expert on Sushant's mental health. But I'm saying, why would somebody who had everything going for himself want to do it? Also, you have to look at the circumstantial evidences available that have come out on television, certain channels, certain newspapers. There are lots of theories. The only theory that got me thinking is, why was the police and everybody in Bollywood so eager to term it as a suicide? And that is when it smelt of a cover-up, because the police never saw him hanging. And if they didn't see him hanging, how did they make the statement of a suicide? It was a clear tampering of the evidence scene if they found him on the bed. There are so many questions in this case and so many elementary errors of the Mumbai police that even as a journalist, I can point it out to you. I don't need to be an investigative officer, but basic elementary works of investigations is common in many professions. The mere fact that they don't have a photograph of him hanging, they have a photograph of him lying on the bed. It clearly means that nobody saw him hanging. So how did you arrive at it? Could it not be a possibility that the same people who are in questions allowed for him to hang and then brought his body down? You don't know what has happened over there. So I think it's a good thing that the central agencies have come in. They don't have a political wing in the fight. They are more driven by what briefs are given to them. I think it is very important. I think the entire Mumbai police and the Maharashtra government machinery, the backing they're giving Riya Chakrabarti, the supposed backing they're giving another gentleman called Sandeep Singh, these are two very critical people in this case, only smells of a cover-up. There's something that Sushant knew. To me, Sushant was murdered for some information that he had. Whether that was drugs, whether that was something to do where somebody was violated or people were violated, or some nefarious activities happening that involved Bollywood and politics. Or there could be something that was there on those 8 hard disks that were taken away. You don't walk away with 8 hard disks from somebody's house, and then afterwards a series of incidents happen. You need to look at this very minutely in terms of the dates. 8th morning, Riya Chakrabarti leaves Sushant Singh Rajput. 8 afternoon, certain people come to Sushant's house. What state it is, we don't know, but 8 hard disks were taken away from Sushant's house. This is corroborated by the people in his house, right? And on 8 evening or late evening, you have the supposed alleged suicide of Disha Salian. Disha Salian dies, apparently committed suicide, jumped off a building, which is a question mark. And after her death, Sushant's really upset. He's scared, not upset. In fact, he tells his sister, "Ab ye log mujhe bhi marenge." And 5 days later, you find him supposedly hanging, which I don't believe that he committed suicide. So what did they know, Shri? That's the mood question.
Someone of the intellect of Sushant, I'm not buying the fact that he would have kept everything in local storage. I'm believing that he has something up in the cloud, and that if you look hard enough, you will be able to get that data, whatever it is that he has stashed away in those 8 hard drives. Sometimes what happens is, it could be a red herring. I'm not saying it is. He could be cleverer than what these guys give him credit for. Although I am a little, what should I say, circumspect about why he did not try to maybe move away from Mumbai for a few days when he heard that Disha Salian has jumped off of the roof. And some reports say that she did not wear any clothes. That's a very, very, very strong, suspicious observation then, whether she was thrown off, and all sorts of things will come after that. What is surprising is that every day there's a new story emerging. And if the CBI and ED and NCB are doing their work, where are the leaks coming from? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, there are a lot of stories going around because, of course, the imagination of the people have gone on overdrive because of the hype around the Sushant Singh Rajput death. There are varied theories, and people are entitled to the theories. At the end of the day, what is most important is the truth, because you need evidences to actually frame the charges that you want to frame. Now, according to me, there are 2 very important players in this entire initial players that I would like to call. One is really the pawn, and the other one is the crisis manager. Riya Chakrabarti, to me, is a pawn, and she's playing her role very well. She will, at some point of time, be sacrificed. She will break down, and she will give the relevant information. This issue is not about 10 grams of drugs or 7 grams of drugs or anything of that sort. It's much bigger than that. I think somewhere down the road, while the drug angle is important, it goes even deeper than that. The main player is a guy called Sandeep Singh. Okay, now this is an interesting fellow because while some of the media have got to him, many media does not talk about the multifaceted nature of this gentleman, Sandeep Singh. Now, Sandeep Singh was not in touch with Sushant Singh for over 10 months prior to his death, but they were supposedly close friends, according to his own admission. Though the family denies Sandeep Singh being a close friend, and Sandeep Singh's put pictures of Sushant and him and Ankita Lokhande, that was Sushant's previous girlfriend. Sandeep Singh started a company in 2015 with an paid up capital of about 1 lakh. This gentleman goes on to produce some very good movies in the sense, like he produced Mary Kom, he produced Sarabjit, and he produced the biopic Narendra Modi. Okay. Now, so he is somebody who shared a very close knit relationship with everybody politically concerned. He had a good relationship with Shiv Sena. He supposedly had a good relationship with the BJP, and he had a good relationship with NCP and some sort of relationship with Congress as well. I mean, in overall, photographs and things like that you see. Vivek Oberoi, who played the role of Narendra Modi in the biopic, was one of the directors in his company, Legend Global Studios. Obviously, for that period of time, when he was acting. Now, my investigations into Sandeep Singh from 2010 will indicate that Sandeep Singh was nothing but a man Friday for Sanjay Leela Bhansali before he took off on his own. So you see, if you map his financial records from 2015 when he started the company, you see these certain bursts of money coming in, 15 crores, 20 crores. And for 2018, he does not file his returns at all.
Did not Mr. Chidambaram make it mandatory even if you have zero income to file an income tax return?
No. But he has it. On 2018, all records. See, I pulled out everything. The kind of work I do, Sri. So he's not filed returns for 2018. So you have 2016, 17, 18 is missing, and 19 is there. Okay. I have letters that show Vivek Oberoi as director, joining and resigning. I have a letter that says Umang Kumar of the famous show and the director of Mary Com, who was also the director of Narendra Modi biopic. He was a director at one point of time and he resigned. So this gentleman's money flow is very interesting because it has sudden bursts, certain incomes and certain outflows, which can be attributed to the movies, But why is nobody talking about this guy who suddenly turns up? He was a nobody 10 years ago. Okay, just an average guy with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. He is caught in a foreign destination, in bed with a minor. He's actually allegedly raped a minor, and he's then gotten out of it through powerful contacts. And then this guy suddenly turns up, takes control of the entire situation post the death of Sushant, from the body going into the ambulance to him showing a thumbs up to the police, to him being at the Cooper Hospital. Who is this guy that suddenly turns up as the crisis manager?
Right? He has not been arrested, right?
He's been called for questioning yesterday by the CBI.
Okay.
But he's very critical, and he's very critical because he, in my instinctive belief, came there as a crisis manager. Okay, this guy was a nobody 10 years ago. I verified it with very senior officers within the intelligence circuit. I got them to look at it. We did a background. This guy was a nobody. He became somebody. He ran some very good programs on TV, made some money, was close to Sanjay Leela Bhansali, and that's how he took off. From 2015, he just took off. Right? He's one guy. The second, besides Riya Chakrabarti, Sandeep Singh, the next most important aspect of this entire case, Sri, is the situation that happened at the Cooper Hospital morgue. Okay. You have Riya Chakrabarti, her family, a gentleman called Suraj Singh, okay, who appear at this morgue and demand to have a look at the body. Of course, then somebody from the Karni Sena is called, he's asked to take them in because he was a volunteer at the morgue of some nature, and he came out on television and gave his talk. But this one person, which leads me to a question is, why would Riya Chakrabarti come with her family to the morgue, number one? Why would this other gentleman, who was a part of the MS Dhoni movie, he was one of the assistant directors and very close to MS Dhoni himself, come to the movie, to the morgue unexpectedly? They could have gone during the final rites. They didn't need to be at the morgue. And the morgue, I'm amazed that the Mumbai police allowed Riya Chakrabarti to actually go inside the morgue. It's a very strange question, and she spent 45 minutes there. Incredible work, by the Mumbai police on a high-profile case. They just allow anybody. There's no relationship between them. You know, the relationship ended on the 8th, the live-in relationship. And then you have this other gentleman, Surat Singh, that came in. Now, there are many people who have suddenly popped up. Sandeep, Riya Chakravarti, Sandeep Singh, Surat Singh, you know, who's again a guy in the Bollywood circuit, who's close to MS Dhoni, who has a company with MS Dhoni's wife. I don't see no reason why he had to be there at the mortuary, but nobody's questioning that bit of it. The point is, what is the truth? And the truth is that something very untoward happened. What is it? And my gut instinct is that it's got to do with information of some kind. He knew something that could get him into trouble. Now, why he was killed so swiftly, why he did not act, are all questions that need to be answered by the CBI and the investigative agencies. I firmly believe that they are protecting somebody very powerful, somebody very politically connected, somebody that got the entire Maharashtra government and the Maharashtra police force so glued to this case that it is almost seeming like, you know, that the entire structure in Maharashtra would fall if they didn't protect this person behind this case. So it's very strange. I don't know how it's linking together, but there's something very, very sinister about it. It's not normal. It's not a normal suicide. It's definitely a murder. Something went terribly wrong over here, and that's the major cover-up that the Mumbai police is attempting. Now, I had interviewed a gentleman called R.V. Subramani, and in his interview to me, he mentioned about the fact that there was a Mumbai police commissioner who, at one point of time, you know, somebody approached him telling him not to raise issues during the Sadhvi Pragya case that he was talking about, on the fact that, and told him that there was 500 crores set aside by a corporate house, which we all know who the corporate house is, because his wife works for that corporate house. Yes. 500 crores so that he becomes a police commissioner.
Yes, and viewers might be able to connect the dots here. This particular corporate house tried to finger us, and they had to eat crow. Any rate, if you go back and look at the records on P Gurus, you'll know who he's talking about. I have one curiosity question, Savio. The day that Dhoni resigned or retired and Raina retired, they're all very close to the time that CBI took over the investigation. Any relationship there, do you see?
Okay, that's I don't know, because I found their retirement a little strange, because they're very good players, and I would expect them to continue for a little more time. But honestly, I don't have any information in that space. But what I do know is what I told you, that one of the gentlemen, one of the Singhs, Surat Singh, who came to the mortuary, was a part of the MS Dhoni team, and he's also a gentleman who Sakshi Dhoni has started a company with. MS Dhoni was somebody who was close to Sushant, so I'm sure he would have had his own views on the entire death that has happened. But he hasn't spoken very vehemently about it, so I really have nothing to comment on that. But this is not as simple as it seems, is what I'm saying. It's not. There are a lot of connections, there are a lot of dots. What I fear will happen is, normally in such high-profile cases, and if there is a large entity involved, whether Bollywood or politics, they will divert the attention to something as flimsy as 10 grams of drugs. You know, they will also create a situation that will make it clear that Sushant was a drug user. They will also create a situation that maybe Riya Chakravarti's brother and the others involved will face charges and trial. But the real big fish will get away, and that information will be used for a political parley at some point of time. That's my reading into the entire thing. I know I'm saying very dangerous things, but I'm known to say dangerous things. But I believe that that information will be used for a political parley at some point of time, because the information behind Sushant Singh Rajput's death is very powerful, powerful enough for 2 people to be killed, supposedly.
There's also one other death that happened a few days after Sushant Singh Rajput. I'm forgetting to pick up the name.
Sameer.
No. Sorry?
There was a gentleman from the TV industry called Sameer.
Yeah, right, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was also there were 2 other people who died before him. One is Prakeksha and Manmeet, who were also reportedly from the TV business. So, well, they're all connected. There are very simple theories. I'm not working on any theories. I'm just working on simple facts. The simple facts are, A, the inability of the Mumbai police to tell us whether they saw the body hanging. They did make a statement of it in court saying that they did not. They found the body lying on the bed. The role of Sandeep Singh and the role of Riya Chakrabarti. And of course, the question mark on this gentleman that has a company with Mahendra Singh Dhoni's wife, Sakshi Dhoni. So I'm not alleging anything. I don't know. But I found it very strange that you turn up at the mortuary to have a look at a dead body when you could have come for the final rites. The family itself never came to the mortuary. But the Mumbai police allowed these people. So who and how important were these people is very interesting from an investigating point of view.
Yes, indeed. And several unanswered questions there. And in a previous hangout with Savio, I had mentioned this, that Indian politicians seem to want to start chess game, but never want to end them. I'm hoping that this chess game will end and somebody will be sent to jail. Thank you very much, Savio. And we will be back on this topic in a few weeks' time, whenever we have a significant update again. And please subscribe to P Guru's channel. Namaskar.
Thank you.